This is Rhonda Winninger, and you're listening to the Bomber Buzz.
It's a great day in the Bomber Nation, and you are listening to the Bomber Buzz. This is Principal Jacob Jenkins. Joining me, as usual, is Dean of Students, Mr. Paul Rudolph. Paul, how has your week been?
Been great. Been really good.
Yeah.
You know, got out, a little weather's decent. I mean, it's still spring, right? That breeze is still a little bit raw, but just
overall pretty nice.
Yeah, you just kind of, there's always that when spring hits, it's just kind of a nice breath of fresh air.
Yeah. So. I'm still wondering if we're going to get an April blowout here 1 or 2 days. I mean, usually we have that last big storm and then it's over.
Yeah, you kind of like, okay, when's it going to hit or when's it coming? Because it's coming. We just don't know exactly when. It could be the middle of April. It could be the end of April. Who knows?
That's right. Well, we've had a bit of a lull with activities, and now we're diving right back in.
We are, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can throw the junior-senior banquet tonight.
That's right.
Throw prom tomorrow. So
softball
opens today. Yeah. So we're probably a little earlier than most schools with our prom, but doesn't seem to be a problem. I mean, everything seems to work out okay.
Yeah. Well, when we set dates for prom, we try to find that sweet spot where once softball is going and track and things like that, having a weekend that doesn't conflict with a meet is
hard. You're spot on.
So you try to find this sweet spot, which is usually last weekend or this weekend.
Yeah, it's either one of those weekends in March.
Yeah,
right. No, spot on, and it's just kind of what it needs to be.
Yeah.
So and then that's going on this weekend, and then Monday our elementary boys basketball, the newest Longhorns, they play over in Stanley, and they've started out. They started Monday. They played. ORCS on Monday, and the fifth graders had a good game, got beat by 10, but the sixth graders, they won by 10.
Nice.
And then yesterday, both squads went over to South Prairie, and both squads were victorious.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're enjoying some fun and enjoying the kickoff to things. So that's Monday. They go over there. Tuesday, once again, they have another elementary game over at Ned Rose. So they go over there on Tuesday. Wednesday, we've got the sixth grade science fair rolling around. If you guys want to stop in over in the cafeteria.
Open to the public.
Yep, starts at 2:15, right around 2:15, and it will roll right up until about the end of the school day. So that's Wednesday, and that's the sixth graders mainly, but all are welcome to come and see that if they'd like. Thursday, we've got softball over at Tioga. We have... our elementary girls volleyball team, they go over to Garrison. They've played a couple games, and then they kind of get, because gyms are being used with baseball and softball, and they're kind of getting there fighting for time. But they've been working too, and they play over in Garrison on Thursday the 3rd. And then we also have elementary boys basketball up at Botno on Thursday the 3rd. And then Friday, once again, the softball team heads over to Jamestown. They play in their bubble. That's a to be determined time. I do not have that. And it is also the opening game for the baseball team.
Oh, boy.
We play Bishop Ryan out here on Friday the 4th at 4:00. So that, and then Saturday we've got the small group festival, I believe.
I believe so.
I think is the small group festival. That's Saturday. So we stay busy every day of the week.
Every day there's
something going on this coming one. So busy week, good start, but the spring kind of rolls that way because it
sure does.
It's a quick spring.
There's a lot that you're trying to fit into a couple weeks.
I should say it's a short spring for North Dakota weather.
Yeah,
and we got to get a lot of things. We kind of jam a lot of things into a
That's
6-week period, so to speak. When it comes to activities. So they stay busy, moving from place to place and still getting their classwork done. And really we've, to commend just the tip of the hat to the parents and we've really had a really good year. The Berthold School has from kids getting their work done.
Yeah.
Kids getting their work done, and it's done well.
Really good.
Yeah. So, tip of the hat there to everybody out there listening.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it just picks up from here, and this will be the theme running through May.
It will be the theme. Yeah, it will be the theme. Before we leave, what are your mixed thoughts on the cell phone bill?
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the cell phone bill here and kind of explain more what that is when we talk with Aubree here in our senior spotlight. But quick upfront preload is it looks like there's going to be a bill that makes it so that cell phones for students had to be put away from the start of the day to the end of the day. I'm mixed on it. I see the benefit. Research shows that there's a benefit of not having your device, that there's more attention, there's less distraction. Students seem to perform better when they don't have their cell phone. And a lot of the reasoning behind it is really to be off of social media more than anything. So it's not even so much the distraction as it is the over communication and the out of context communication that's happening. And, you factor in cyberbullying into that. But, you're in the middle of a math lesson and you get a text from a friend asking what you're doing after school. And now you're out of that lesson. That's a big distraction. Then you're trying to get back in. And so I see the positives from that standpoint. Aubree will bring up some negatives that I kind of agree with. But, you look at, okay, well, emergency situations, if the phones are all sequestered in the office, that's a problem. If we get pouches, that's less of a problem, but still problematic. I mean, she'll bring up something that you and I talked about, we didn't think about, which is 2-factor authorization for some of your classes where you have to use your cell phone to verify that you are who you are to get in on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some hurdles there. But if legislature passes it, and I really think they're going to, I think it's going to happen. Those are things that we'll have to tackle, and then we'll have to decide what's right for Berthold. Kids won't be able to have their phones, period. And that'll be the law. So, some of our policies will have to be revised for that. Like, right now our cell phone policy is pretty generous.
Mm-hmm.
If we see if a cell phone is being inappropriate used, teacher takes it, student gets it back. And the second offense is like brought to the office and student can go get it back. And a bunch of offenses really before parents get called or anything like that. And I don't think we've had maybe one student that's gone that far.
Early in the fall.
Yeah,
but
right.
Yeah, and it hasn't been a problem ever since.
But if this goes into effect, it'll have to be more stringent, probably. If a student has a cell phone out, not in a pouch or not sequestered, however we decide to do that, it'll have to go to the office. Parent will have to come pick it up. I mean, so it's a whole different kind of ball game as far as policing and the consequences involved with having a cell phone. And it sounds to me like the policy can't be like, oh, kids will have it in their locker. It has to be inaccessible or unable to be used. So there is a provision if you're on an IEP or if you have a medical need, that you could still have access to your cell phone for the purposes of, because I know like there are glucose monitors and it's the phone that lets you know.
Right. Same with some diabetics, stuff of that nature.
Yes, exactly. And this extends into smartwatches and other technologies like that. So it's not even just cell phones, watches. I haven't seen any students with the glasses, but that's starting, to become kind of a thing. So,
right.
But they're making it a broad overall.
Yeah, broad. It even mentioned an earpiece that would be not...
Right. Those wireless.
Right.
It sounds like the Bluetooth headsets you wouldn't be able to use.
Right. That's what it sounded like, just reading it.
Yeah.
I mean, I should say
on the quick cursor. I guess we'll see when the language is actually put together and passed. Again, the one cell phone bill they had was very stringent like this. And then through amendments and the committee process, it was kind of changed to basically the school board will set a policy for how they want your school to work. And then the governor kind of came in and was like, no.
Right. And that's what I was just the seniors that I was visiting with, we were talking about the bill yesterday. And I said, well, let me tell you, when the governor gets up there and talks and smiles and says this type of stuff, he doesn't get up.
Conference
he doesn't get up there to say it's going to fail. He's up there to promote. This is what's happening. These guys changed their amendment to come back to this. Yeah. And I mean, I just have a hard time believing that it's not going to pass. Similar to the verbiage that it had, and this is going to be the new law of the land, if you will.
Yeah, and that'll be K-12, you know.
Right.
So kids with those gizmo watches, those would have to be sequestered during school, as my understanding.
Yeah.
So it's not just a high school policy, it's a whole school policy, you know, and which, you know, more and more kids, we got third graders with cell phones even now.
Right.
You know,
and most of that is for after school reasons.
For sure. And we've never had a cell phone problem.
No.
In any grades under 7th grade. I mean,
no.
It starts with 7th.
Yeah, that's kind of when it starts to change. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. But
yeah,
so I think it'll be interesting. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I can't argue with any of your points. I think one that kind of jumped out to me sometimes, I think that, you know, back when I was in school, it seemed like if a teacher, you know, had maybe I don't want to call it a lazy day, but an informational day, you might watch a informational movie type of scenario, you know, where you get a movie on a Friday or you'd get a movie on a, you know, sub day or something in that capacity. I think cell phones have kind of taken they've kind of moved movies out of the classroom, and it's like, well, if there's a little extra time, I'll just let you, you know, peruse your cell phone. And I think obviously that will change. I think there's some benefit to that too. Agreed.
There is, in education in general, when we're talking high school, I think this relates to 7 through 12 more than elementary at all, but there is a pervasive, if you have free time, you can be on your phone.
Right. Right.
But again, then they're immersing themselves in the social media world, not the academic world, and that can be a distraction. And with the pervasiveness of cyberbullying and, you know, those kind of messages and things like that go on.
Well, I'm not being self-righteous about this. When I was done coaching college football and I was substitute teaching around the Minot area, I'm at Ramstead for about 3 or 4 days in a row. Right. And I believe it was with English, and, you know, the work that we were given didn't get us 50 minutes. Right.
That's right.
So most of the kids were done in about 35 minutes, whatever, you know, which was good. And they worked and they did their stuff. But it's like, okay, we got 15 minutes here. And she had a no cell phone policy. And it's like, oh my goodness, so now 15 minutes, you're doing nothing but, you know, policing and knock it off and quit this. And
that's right.
What a miserable experience for the teacher as well, for the substitute as well. It was just, I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah. Day 2, I like, okay, listen, you get your work done and you can poke your phone out. Because I'm not going to sit here and holler and scream for 15 minutes.
Not fighting that battle.
So I think, you know, I'm looking at it from that perspective, like what a miserable job that substitute teacher had, trying to.
I think the flip side of that, though, is that it means that teachers have to raise the bar as opposed to.
Agreed.
Because they need to go into it understanding that there's not that crutch anymore. There's not, you know.
Oh, agreed.
When you tell a kid, well, if you finish early, read, that sounds great. But you look at the vast majority, like, even right now, if I was like, all right, Paul, you're going to do this, and if you finish, you can read this book. Well, I mean, you're going to want to find something else to do. You know what I mean? Like,
I do. I know exactly what. Yeah.
It's fine for a 5-minute. If you finish 5 minutes early, read a book or stare into the nether.
No, I mean, we all were in school. We know that if there was some idle time, something happened not good.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It wasn't like you were, you know, volunteering for great things when there was idle time. Something was happening that shouldn't have been happening.
Yeah. So some of this is that we've got to raise our game as teachers then to make sure that, okay, if we don't have this crutch that we've gotten used to, which is be on your phone, it's fine.
Yeah.
And we don't have that, then we need to fill that time. You know, and I think about our homeroom time. Those teachers, for us, honestly, are going to have to figure that out, because homeroom time is very much like, hey, if you need help, I'm here to help, and we're going to work on homework.
Right. It's kind of an intervention.
And it is used that way. But there are a lot of kids. I mean, we're a school where I would say 85% of our kids are motivated, and they do their work and they do it on time and they do things, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of downtime during a homeroom. No. So now if you can't have a phone as a teacher, you got to figure out, all right, what am I going to do with this room then? Because you can't just have
No, you can't have chaos.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. And then a good majority, I mean, I do walk around during homeroom as well, and I see, we got math work going on and
Yes,
extra studying and work trying to get done. But there certainly is, some minutes where there's, I might have all my stuff done and what should I do now? And
Yep.
We certainly will need to navigate that.
Yeah. So there's some intentionality there. So
yeah,
I'm not like rallying against it. I see the benefits of it, and I understand, there are some things that they do, and I'm like, I don't understand why they want to do this. I don't understand why they think this is good for our state, school vouchers, charter school stuff. I don't understand why they think that's good for our state. It's not, and it's very easy for me to be like, no, this is garbage. I see their intentions for this one, and I see the potential for positive impact that it has. But there's also there's things we're going to have to figure out.
Yep, for sure. Agreed with you.
So,
agreed.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, thanks. I appreciate I was just like, hey, no,
I think it's a good conversation.
When I saw the press conference was going on, I'm like, oh my God, this is a great talking point. I got to get some feedback from the kids and people. And it was good stuff. This
will really affect us for sure. So, and then, there are other things I'm sure we'll end up talking about the next few weeks, education savings accounts and school vouchers. That's going to be a big thing, and it really there's a lot that comes down to, should kids that choose to go to private school be able to use public money?
Right.
Personally, no, because private school is a choice. You're making a choice not to use the publicly available things. So should you have access to that? No, I don't think you should. I think that, we have monies that's set aside for public school to provide public education. And when you make a choice to go somewhere else, that's the choice you made, is to give that up. Just like, if you were to, I don't know. I can't think of another example.
That's a good.
I had a really great point, and then, but it's like anything that's available, and then you opt out of, So
when you opt out of something, you opt out of something.
That's what you made a choice that you
opt
wanted
out.
This instead, and you're paying for that because that's the choice you made, was to pay for that. And I think so. But we'll get more into that because there's like 5 or 6 different bills, and I don't know that anything's been passed yet. I know
things have been
looked at. That's coming down. And then, future coming up, I know Mr. Laudenschlager is going to be back, and he's got some thoughts for sure that we'll
I always look forward. I always look forward to that day. Yeah, good.
It's really great to hear his opinions. He's so well reasoned, and he really thinks and pays attention to these things. He
reads, studies. Yeah, without a doubt.
He cares about education, and he really cares about education for our rural school and rural schools in general. And we need people that are standing up, because, the voice of the rural school, I think, sometimes gets drowned out.
Oh yeah. Well, it's easy to, right? We don't have the same voices.
That's correct.
When even 30 miles away, there's quite a few voices for that particular region.
Yes.
And there's not as many voices for this particular region. So
no. And things work different in a school the size of ours. 200 kids is different than 800 is different than 2,000.
Without question.
And so our voice needs to be out there. And so I appreciate that. And I love hearing his opinions and what he has to say.
Mm-hmm.
So,
look forward to it.
Yeah. Anyway, so as I mentioned, we got a senior spotlight with Aubree Schepp, and we kind of get into some little policy a little bit, but we get to hear about her water skiing and her plans for the future, which, I think are really great. And, so if you want to hear all about that, and I know you do, just stick with us, because that's coming up here on the Bomber Buzz. Berthold Farmers Elevator is open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. If you have spring wheat, corn, canola, durum, yellow peas, or feed barley, make sure to give them a call at 453-3431. Visit their website at bertholdfarmers.com for the latest in market, weather, and news information. Berthold Farmers Elevator is a proud sponsor of the Bomber Nation.
Hi, this is Monica.
And Tammy.
Here is your fun fact for the week.
Did you know 61% of employees are more productive when the dress code is relaxed?
Wow, that sounds good to me. Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome. Now you know.
We're back on the Bomber Buzz, and we have our senior spotlight. Joining us today is Miss Aubree Schepp. Aubree, welcome to the Buzz. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. It's great to have you. We're going to find out all about you here, and our listeners are chomping at the bit to know.
And I am as well.
Yeah,
This is going to be so fun. I can't wait. Huh?
Yep.
I can't wait.
I'm excited.
Good. I know it. I get a chance to stop in and visit with Aubree most every morning. Get a little smile and chuckle out of her. So tell us a little bit about your parents and your family.
Well, my parents are Kyle and Bonnie Schepp. My dad's an agronomist, and he has his own company. And then my mom is a nurse. And then I have two siblings, Lily and Tucker, and Lily's a freshman and Tucker is a 7th grader.
There you go.
So you're the oldest.
I am.
You are the oldest.
Yep.
That has its benefits, yeah?
It does. But also, sometimes it's not fun, but it's fine.
Really? Sometimes it's not fun?
Well, sometimes it feels like I'm the parent.
Gotcha.
Come on.
I have to take care of them. Yes.
You got to get Tucker in line.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, do you guys have a favorite family activity or a tradition that you really like about, that your family admires about them or anything like that?
We don't really have traditions. We do go to the lake a lot, though. That's what I wrote down.
Do you? What lake?
Metagoshi.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Are you a water skier?
I am.
Are you?
Yes.
Slalom too?
Uh-huh.
Could you be on the ski-natiques?
My parents want me to, but I would not.
Not
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I don't like trying new things.
Well, that wouldn't really be new, would it? If you're...
Yes, it would.
Would it?
Yes.
Okay.
You're performing in front of a bunch of people.
Okay.
I'm not
Instead of
used
just
to that.
skiing on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might find you like it. You got to try.
Yeah,
You got to try,
I know.
Aubree.
I'm just scared.
When did you learn
Fair
when did
enough.
you start learning how to ski?
Well, this is a funny story, but I was at my grandparents' cabin and all my cousins were skiing on the little trainer skis, and then I tried it. And then I got scared and I cried the whole way around the bay when we were going around. And I didn't try it again until I was
How old
10.
were you then?
4.
4?
So I didn't try it for 6 years. And then now I like it.
Okay.
It's not as scary.
Gotcha. All right. Well, how about when you were young, that little 4-year-old or maybe the 10-year-old? What did you imagine becoming?
I always thought that I'd be a vet.
A vet, huh?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
What was it about being a vet that appealed to you?
I just liked animals.
Okay.
And I wanted to take care of them. But then I watched Dr. Pole in Mrs. Vardy's class and saw a horse autopsy, and I'm like, I don't think I can do this.
That changed your mind a little bit?
Yeah. Or
it's not just petting animals.
No. This dog's eye was gross, or its broken arm, and I'm like, I don't like this.
Oh, no,
That
Aubree,
changed my mind.
You make me chuckle constantly.
That's good you figured it out early.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. How about now that you're going to graduate? We're only, 8 weeks away, roughly? Not even.
Yeah.
7 weeks away, 8
almost
weeks
there.
away.
Yeah.
What do you imagine yourself becoming?
An optometrist.
An optometrist?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So when did that start coming into your mind that that's what you wanted to do?
I think it was last year. I was taking a health careers class, and I read the description and it seemed fun. Then I job shadowed an optometrist last year, and I think I'd really like it.
That's awesome.
That is. So it wasn't during that movie when you saw the bad eye on that dog.
No.
That's not what clicked.
No, it was not.
How about an accomplishment that you're really proud of?
Going to state basketball and my grades.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that was fun.
Can you elaborate on both of them or one of them?
Well, I'm very proud of my grades because I work hard for them. And then going to state basketball was just seeing all of my team and my hard work paying off.
For sure.
And then because I've always dreamed of going to state, and I never thought it would happen Like, especially like a few years ago, I'm like, we're never going to make it to regionals. But
No, it's pretty cool.
now we won and it was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
It's amazing how much can change in a few years, with hard work and then the different abilities that kind of come together. And
Yeah. It's weird, like, how fast, like, it changed. Because, like, when I was an 8th grade or a freshman, we won a total of 8 games.
Your 8th grade and freshman year total?
Yes. We won 4 games each year. And then the next year we won 8 games, which was better, but still not the best. Then last year we did good. And then this year we did even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that is.
yeah.
Well, everybody matures at different rates
That's for
and things
sure.
of that nature. But it is awesome, and it's telling too. That's awesome that like you can have fantastic. Or didn't you weren't so successful as 8th graders and freshmen, but look at where we ended up. Right,
Yeah.
and you can say the opposite can happen as well. But
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, since we're talking extracurriculars, what other extracurricular activities have you been involved with?
I've been involved in volleyball, softball, and been on the agronomy team and FFA.
Volleyball, softball. You were the middle blocker in volleyball.
Yes.
How about in softball?
First base?
First base, and then did a little DH in last year too. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about we open up today?
Yep.
What can we expect from Aubree Schepp?
From me?
Yeah.
Well, not hitting the best right now.
Well, we haven't even hit yet. We could go 4 for 4 today.
Maybe. We had a scrimmage and I struck out every time.
Did you?
But
Well, maybe that's like your
maybe-
8th grade year, and then now
That's
we're going to
it.
be.
You
Like,
just get those jitters out.
it's room for improvement. I told Ingrid that the only way to go from here is up.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. I try to stay positive.
Well, baseball and softball are kind of negative sports in a lot of aspects. Is that
Yeah.
like you can hit 300 or 400, and really people think that's a fantastic. I mean, it is a
Yeah.
fantastic
Yeah.
year. So there are a lot of outs, but sometimes productive outs, even though that doesn't sound normal. I mean, it's just a game where it's really mentally. You do have to stay positive, and the only way to go is up. That's
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, otherwise that can really dwell on you. Softball, basketball, and agronomy. Tell us a little bit about agronomy. So I think a lot of the people would like to know exactly what you do on an agronomy contest.
Okay. Well, I think there's like 12 stations and you have to like identify plants, seeds, insects, like disorders in crops. Then there's like a paper class that you get from the elevator that's like grading how the grain is. And then there's pan classes and you get 4, like they're in plates. There are 4 plates of grain and then they'll have like either the grain is damaged or there's like other seeds added in there and you have to like identify them and then like place them in like best to worst. Then there's a soils test that you have. You have to look at a book and like find the right answer. And then machinery. You have to identify the machinery.
What kind of machinery?
Like combines
Oh.
and
Oh, sure.
like plows.
Okay.
I'm not real good at it.
Well, you must be okay. You get a gold many
Yeah,
times.
but
Yeah.
machinery is my worst.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It was not good.
Well, you seem to be doing okay in it.
Yeah. I like it. It's fun. Then I don't have to talk to anyone.
You just kind of do your thing.
Yeah.
You don't like talking to people?
No. I'm more of like an antisocial person. I'd rather be by myself.
Oh, Aubree. Like I said, you make me chuckle all the time. How about 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Working.
Working?
Yep.
Anywhere in particular?
I don't know.
Like, do you want to stay in the Midwest? Do you want to stay in North Dakota? Do you want to stay in Northwest North Dakota?
That's what I'm like having trouble with. Because, like, I like North Dakota. I've grown to like it. I
Yep.
used to hate it. But, like, I don't know. Because there aren't any optometry schools in North Dakota.
No.
So I was thinking, because my mom was friends with someone that went to an optometry school in, like, Oregon, and I've always wanted to go there. So I'm like, maybe I should go there and see if I like it, and then maybe I could just stay there. I've also thought about living in Colorado.
Yeah. I like Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do too.
Well, you know, we like to keep our good people in North Dakota too, though.
Yeah, we do.
I'll probably end up. I'm gonna move back probably.
I'm just saying.
There's
we don't
a need
want
for
just an
optometrists.
out migration.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, just throwing my 2 cents out there.
Go
All
get
right.
trained, come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's go back. So we're gonna go reverse order. What do you like? How about elementary school memories? What's your favorite elementary school memory?
Okay, I had a hard time thinking of this, but my best one is like in Miss Cook's classroom during like the spring when it was super hot out. Not super hot, but it was getting warmer. We didn't have like air conditioning, so then we'd spend the afternoons with like the lights off and then the windows were open and it's like a warm breeze coming in.
Sure.
And then we just work, and that was fun.
Was it? What grade was
Yes.
that?
6th grade.
6th grade? Okay.
Yeah.
How about junior high? Your favorite time? You told me
the
earlier.
best time.
Yeah.
She couldn't stop talking about junior high when we were talking before we started.
Yeah. It was weird. It was COVID, so I don't remember anything.
Yeah. That was weird.
Yeah.
Prior to that, did you do much work on the computer? Is that when you
A
really
little bit.
Is that when you really had to start?
Yeah. Well, we've always kind of had computers. So that wasn't much of a change. But then everything else was. And then we completely stopped using paper, which is kind of nice because now my hands don't hurt.
That's always been my big complaint about paper.
What? Well, I'm glad we quit using paper so my hands don't hurt.
I don't have to write.
Oh my
Like-
goodness. I think you're getting a little idea of some of our conversations and why she can make me chuckle constantly.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, Nelly. How about high school memory? What's your favorite high school memory?
This basketball season.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be tough to top that one, that's for sure.
Yeah. I put on my state shirt the other day in the locker room and I was like, this is the highlight of my life. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's something that you get to have with you your whole life now.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
No
It
doubt.
was fun.
So, what are you going to miss most about the Berthold School?
I'll miss like knowing everyone and being in a smaller community.
That's it?
And you, of course.
That's what he was fishing for.
Yeah.
I will miss Mr.
Oh,
Rudolph.
no,
Yes.
Aubree. Oh, that's it? I'm like, come on. Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
How about what class have you enjoyed the most?
History with Mrs. Rowland.
History?
Yep.
Was there a particular one?
I just like history.
Just any history?
Yeah.
Really?
Or I liked learning about like what caused the wars last year.
Yeah. Yep.
Cuz I've always been confused on World War 1 and it cleared it up kind of.
So that helped?
Yeah.
So which war did you like studying the most?
I've always been intrigued by World War II.
World War II?
Like when I was really young, I had so many books about like the Holocaust and like World War II. So I've always been like interested by that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird for like a 3rd grader to be obsessed with, but I was.
Not really.
I don't know. It's just, it is an interesting time, and there was a lot going on, and
Yeah.
trying to figure out the whys and the hows.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in some degree still. I mean, can
Yes.
argue about or discuss and disagree. No, without question. That's a good one. How about let's go back to that young girl learning how to ski. Would you give her any advice?
The girl learning how to ski, I'd tell her to not stop trying or don't be scared because it's not scary. And I wish that I would have started sooner.
How about the 10-year-old? What would you tell that 10-year-old, old Aubree?
What 10-year-old?
When she started learning how to ski, you just went for it. You know, that 10-year-old now.
Oh, yeah.
What would you tell that one? Anything different?
About skiing?
Well, no, just in general.
In general.
Well, what I have written down on this paper is to work hard. And then I was thinking last night, I was like, don't let people's opinions stop you. Or like, don't be afraid of them judging you.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
That's really important.
I know it's a very generic answer, but like, it's important.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yes, it is. How about 3 things in your lifetime that you really want to do?
I really want to graduate college, get a good job, have a family, and maybe travel.
Those are great goals.
Before having a family.
Okay.
I'd want to travel single.
Do you have a particular place where you want to travel to?
Europe. Or like Sweden, like those weird, like on the map.
Nordic countries.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like
Those weird ones?
No, not weird, but they're like
everyone in this community hails from Norway and Sweden and Finland.
Yeah. Well, like on the map, they're like shaped kind of weird.
That's true.
There's
Okay.
like 3 of them. They're like kind of long. I don't know. I want to see them.
Oh, shoot. Well, that's good. You got a time frame when you want to do that? You said when you were single.
I don't know.
Like we're going to do optometry school and then head out, or
Maybe like in the summer.
in the summertime?
There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be old when I graduate optometry school.
What do you consider old?
It's like
Like,
not
what would you
old,
consider old?
Not old, like not as young as I am now.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I mean, that'll hold true tomorrow. You won't be as young as you are now.
Yeah. Well, it's
that
going to be
will.
like 8 years of school and I'll be like
It
26.
is a lot of school. That is
Yeah.
true.
And you certainly will be old.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you want to be remembered by your peers?
I want to be remembered as a nice person who is always like caring and considerate of other people.
I would agree with
I
that.
think you will be, yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's
you've
good.
accomplished.
Okay.
Agreed.
Because I think of like other people and I'm like, wow, they're so nice. And I want to be remembered like that.
Yeah, well, I think you've accomplished it.
Agreed.
How about the faculty?
I want to be remembered as a hard worker and a respectful person.
I think you've accomplished that. as
Granted.
Good.
Yeah,
I think
I
you
would.
will.
I always
think-
try to be nice to
I would think
people.
we'd have a hard time finding anybody that didn't say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have some things we'd like to add.
All right.
We were talking about the cell phone policy yesterday because of
This is off the
because of the
cuff here.
governor's
Yeah.
press conference, and you had the most opinions. So I'd just like you to share them for us a little bit now that you've had 24 hours to think about
we
things.
should probably preface real quick if you
Oh,
didn't, if
good
you
idea.
don't know
Sorry.
what the governor said. They are going. I mean, it's almost a sure thing. They're going to pass that students are not allowed to have cell phones from bell to bell, meaning from the first bell of the day to the last bell of the day. They're going to require that they are stowed away in some fashion, is the way I understand it. Whether that's there's a special place in the office with lockers, or there's these pouches that students can put their phones in, and then the pouches lock and the students take them around with them, but that they're not allowed to have them from when the first bell rings until the last bell of the day. And so that's what's being proposed, and most likely I think will pass. I don't see there was a different bill similar to it that they had really kind of amended down, but now that the governor's behind it, I think everyone's like, yep, this is what we're doing.
Right.
So
And I
that-
was just going around yesterday kind of spilling the beans and
Yeah.
and just, how would you react? And Aubree gave me the most opinions of anybody.
I don't think I had the most opinions.
Well, maybe I
was,
just had I had an opportunity with your class schedule to be able to visit longer with you. Maybe that's what it is.
I think I was just adding on to other people's opinions.
That could be too. There could be some of that.
Being very vocal.
Yes, you were.
It's important to be
Yes,
vocal.
you were.
That's good.
Which is awesome. That's why I enjoy visiting with you. So tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are as a senior and then as graduating, what you would think of. What do you think of
it
the
doesn't
law?
affect me because I am graduating.
Okay, well, how about Tucker and Lily? What do you think?
Okay,
like, what would you think?
If I was, yesterday I think I was just confused on like how it was going to work, or like, are we not allowed to bring them into the school, or like, are the teachers going to take them? I think I was just confused on that.
Yep.
And then,
Do you think it's a good rule? Good law?
I have mixed feelings.
So tell us each side of that, because I also have mixed feelings.
Well, I think it might be good because I know a lot of people get distracted, and then me especially, like not getting work done, and then it takes longer to do assignments because you just keep going on your phone. But then, like, to get into our college Blackboard, like, it's a 2-step identification thing.
Dual factor.
Yeah. And you need your phone to do that. And then, like, our math class, like, you scan a QR code to, like, say that you're there. It's like our attendance. So you need your phone for that. And then Ella brought up the fact of, like, school shootings, or, like, a few years ago, there was a fire in the school. And then my cousin, like, called my parents because Lily was really scared. So that could be, like, a factor of, like, for having our phones to call your family if you need them.
That was when you brought it to me yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, you never know what could happen. And you want to be prepared for everything.
Yeah.
No, and I'm glad you brought up that 2-step authentication and the Blackboard checking in, because that's how most colleges do things. You know, in your classes.
That's the modern world.
Yeah, that is the modern world. I mean, they were doing that, a few years back, and so that is some things that we have to take into consideration with our students taking college level classes or on the ITV side of things. So it'll be something that we have to work through. But I agree with you that I think you can get lost in your phone sometimes, and
I think we all do. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's unique to high school students.
No way.
I've watched myself. I've watched other people of older ages say that as well. And I bet we could probably walk into the legislature. That's kind of the funny. I bet we could walk into the legislature today while they're talking about bills, and I'll bet that 20% of them are on their phone while somebody's talking.
Almost guaranteed.
I mean, because I remember going down there when I was young, and there were some people reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
While people were talking, and I was like, I thought, how rude was that? And now that you got a phone, you don't have to stick up a newspaper. It's a whole lot easier.
You just kind of set her down and
So I
play Candy Crush.
I wonder. Sometimes we make these like we're a little more self-righteous than.
Well, there's double standard, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct.
Well, Aubree, anything else good for the good of the order? Anything you'd like to say to our patrons?
I think I'm all right.
All right.
Said everything.
It's all been said. We've learned a ton about Aubree today. Well, thank you for being with us on the Bomber Buzz. Stick with us. We got more coming up. Good job. Birdsall Grain and Seed is a farmer's seed company. They specialize in seed sales and feed grade and seed conditioning. Birdsall Grain and Seed strives to provide the best and newest varieties that are conditioned to meet their high standards. As a family-owned company, they live their core values of quality, integrity, service, people, and trust. Their motto, a farmer's seed and agronomy company, reminds us daily that their business is built around satisfying the needs of their customers with information they have learned over a long legacy of their own farm. Birdsall Grain and Seed is a proud sponsor of the Bomber Nation. Well, this has been the Bomber Buzz. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you guys again next year. Next episode. Taking us out, here is the Berthold Band playing our school song.